Welcome to My Safe Word is More with your hosts from Survivor and Amazing Race, Corinne Kaplan, stand-up comedian Al Jackson. I'm Chris, your producer, and this is My Safe Word is More.
Thank you, Chris. I want to say that if you are not watching us on video, which we are on My Safe Word is More YouTube and also Spotify, Al looks so fucking cute today. This is the cutest you've ever looked. Yes.
I took a shower, pulling the curtain back, no pun intended, right before you got here, and this was the only thing in the bedroom. My clothes are up here.
Adorable. He's wearing like a matching, I don't know, what is that, soccer?
What do you think this is? This is your home fucking state.
I don't recognize the green.
Okay, do football players have buttons on their jerseys?
No.
Okay, so we're down to...
It seems baseball-y, but the Rockies are purple.
Yes, this is their City Connect version of their jersey.
Well, that's weird. I mean, what's City Connect? What the hell is that? When they ride the bus instead of fly private?
Well, I think it's every team did was they wanted to kind of get, baseball uniforms are kind of traditional. They wanted to get kids. So like the Miami one's like Miami Vice. It looks like the logo from Saved by the Bell. So every team has like a crazy alt color.
Well, you look like you're about to join Kenny Powers in Mexico, if I'm being honest. You need cornrows.
I would, please, I'm down.
So,
by the way, my mom said when she met my dad in law school, right before he went in, he had salt and pepper cornrows.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tight. Wow. While we're on the topic of Miami, while we're currently recording, my parents have flown in, and so that I could record this podcast, I told them to take the train. And what was y'all's first question to me?
Chris, you want to take this?
Why don't they just take an Uber?
Great question.
My question was, why don't you rearrange this podcast and go pick up your effing parents?
I don't do airport
That
pickups.
would never happen in an old school black family. That would never happen.
Look, I am going to explain the Uber situation. I don't know why this is, but my parents are adamant. They do not want Uber on their phones. They refuse. So when we went on the cruise, my mother has a car service guy, like old school, that comes to the house, waits at the house for like 10, 15 minutes, helps us with our bags, and then he has to pick us up. So she's got to call him when the cruise docks and we're out through customs and where is he? Where's Paul? And I'm like...
Is the car like a 1998 Lincoln Continental? Like what kind of car is it? They're always like Lincolns.
Well, it's like a... What do you call it? It's not a minivan. It has multiple rows.
SUV? Is it
like
an Escalade?
Yeah,
okay,
like
yeah,
that.
that's an
But
SUV.
That's
not a minivan.
Okay.
But why are they so anti-Uber?
Okay, okay, here's another thing. My mom called me the other day, and she said to me...
They can't guarantee a brown person will be driving.
She said to me, well, we'll get back to the Uber thing, but this is indicative of the way that they are. My mom was like, Daddy and I are really freaking out, and we need your help. And I was like, what? And she goes, we got a notice on our TV that they're going to start tracking what we watch. And this is unfair. We bought the TV. They didn't tell us. And the TV's like a couple years old. But there was like something that flashed on the screen like, we're tracking your options. And she goes, I have Googled. I don't know how to opt out of this. And I'm like, why would it matter? Why are you so concerned? She's like, it's none of their business. So they're very weird. Years ago, when Uber was admittedly newer, I was working, my mom's flight got canceled, and I had to get her from the airport back to my house. So I was like, I'm calling you an Uber, just go outside. I tell her where to go. And she was really quite hysterical. And I'm on the phone with her, and she goes, okay, like she's talking to the driver, and the driver goes, are you Dale Kaplan? And she goes, Corinne, I don't know if this is the right Uber. And I go, what? In what world is this not the right Uber? He just said your first and last name.
I've got 3 Dale Kaplans here on my phone.
I was like, so anyways, okay, that is not the topic of today. I just wanted to give you guys a little background of what's going on in my life. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what happened while I was in Utah, because Utah stays weird. They are at the top of, fuck you, Austin. You ain't seen shit. Utah is so fucking weird. And then we're going to get into a couple of other things. We have some listener stuff. And I forgot what the second thing was. Oh, yeah. I got a good Ask Go Naked. I've got some vouch datings. I forgot the middle segment. That's my bad. You guys, this is a good podcast. This is a good episode. Okay, so let's just open with Utah. So when I go to Utah, I have an entire routine. I would consider myself like a part-time resident of Salt Lake City. I've been going there for 1 week a month for 12 years, So I get my eyebrows threaded there. I get, I have all...
Do you have any friends there?
Yeah. I do. I have a friend that's the coach for I always fuck this up, the G League.
Yes.
Yeah, that. Yeah, I have friends there. And I got plenty of exes there if anyone's interested. But
All my exes live in Utah doesn't really roll off the tongue.
So I go to this one clothing store, and this clothing store is a little bit quirky. So it's I guess I won't give the name out because I don't want to like put too much out there, but it's a little boutique store that sells a lot of gay male clothing. Like Salt Lake didn't used to really have much of this going on, and they still don't. This place sells harnesses, latex, drag stuff,
But
lingerie.
is that gay male clothing? That's like bondage gear. Gay male clothing is a polo shirt.
No, but they have like anything pride oriented. Like they're very, I would say, very gay focused. Now that being said, they also have obviously regular clothing, but it's all a little freak. Like it's a little more sexual than like Salt Lake is prepared for.
Wait,
so
they have harnesses next to like overalls.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll
all
tell
right.
you the next time I'm wearing something from there because I often like I have lots of like rompers and different things I've bought there.
Unzip your mask before you tell us.
Take the ball gag out.
Yes.
So I love this store and I always go because I always get groceries at Whole Foods. It's in the same complex, whatever. Okay. Now, what I've forgotten to tell y'all, and it's never occurred to me until this trip that this is what's been going on, is because no one really knows my name, they just call me Denver. And I've been responding to the name Denver as though I have an alternate life as a stripper.
I was going to say our audience should know that you're a trucker when you're there. This
Yeah.
Denver coming in, big 2-4, good buddy.
Yeah, and so I walk in, and the guy who works at the store, he's like, Denver, welcome back. And because I'm there, once a month, and I always visit the store. And he's like, how are you? I'm like, good. And he's getting real close to me. I'm in like the back wheel of racks, the sales section, if you will. And he's getting like awful close to me, and he's very sweet. And he's like, I need to talk to you about something, but the cameras, I don't want to do it in front of the cameras. And I was like, okay, guys, I am not friends. This guy doesn't know my actual name. Like this is not a relationship where he would have anything to tell me, like nothing. So I'm like, okay, what is it pertaining to? He's like, I need your professional opinion, but the cameras also have audio, so we have to go outside. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
This is super weird.
So weird. And as it was happening, I was
that
like...
sounds like a way to get a shoplifter out without having any issues.
Well, here's the thing. So I go, well, I'm like holding an armful of clothes. He goes, no, you can try that on. And then once you check out, like, we'll go outside. And I'm like, all right. And he's like a sweet, unassuming, like, I don't know, like he's probably mid-30s, has a ponytail. I'm maybe gay, maybe. But none of this is really relevant. It's just weird. I don't know.
Or an
him.
amateur guitar player.
Well, yeah. And so, all right. So I check out and he goes, oh, okay. And so he's pointing to the cameras above him and he goes, and he points to the door. Now there are other people shopping. And I'm thinking, can you just leave the store? You're the only person working at the store. You're going to leave we had to go like far away from the front entrance of the store. So the store is just completely unattended. And there are multiple exits, not just the one we went through. Like you could have easily taken whatever you wanted from the store. I mean, I guess the cameras have audio, but I don't know how good that's going to do you. Don't grab them in the moment. So I'm like,
it's Utah. There's just a sign above the door that says shoplifting is sinning.
Yeah.
And they're good.
Yeah. The church is watching.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And the cameras.
So I'm like, what could this man possibly have to say to me? So he's like, Denver, I know that you are super professional. And I'm like, I have bought latex here myself. I'm not sure what profession you think I'm in. So I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I need your professional opinion. And I'm thinking, what do I and the guy working at this store have in common? Because it can't be a whole lot. So I go, okay, how can I help? And he's like, so you know how there's a security guard here? Because it's kind of like an indoor-outdoor mall situation. And he goes, there's a security guard. And I was like, I suppose. Like this, it wasn't something on my radar, but...
You're like, yeah, of course.
You know what the security guard should be doing? Getting the shoplifters who are currently rampaging your store out.
Right.
So he goes, well, he never says my name. And I just wanted to know if you find that as offensive as I do. And I'm like, huh? And he goes, he doesn't say my name. And I'm thinking, you think my name is Denver. Let's start there. And I for sure don't know your name.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well... But does he say hello? And he goes, yeah, he always says hi. And if I'm with two other people, he'll be like, hi, Sarah. Hi, Kelly. Hey. And I go, well, what is your name? And he tells me, and he goes, it's PJ. And I go, well, that's not hard to pronounce. Right. So I go, maybe he doesn't know it. He goes, no, I confronted him. And I'm thinking, this poor security guard who's also making minimum wage had to get in a confrontation. He's friendly. He's saying hello.
Right.
But he's not using his fucking first name. So he goes, I said to him, do you not know my name? And then he told me he's suffering from depression. So what do you think? So what do you think I should do? And I'm like, I mean, Al, what advice would you give this gentleman? Because I was like, where are those cameras? Like, is there a hidden camera on me right now? Because this is crazy.
I mean, it just shows you like what people are dealing with. But if I was you, I would have taken his hand and been like, sir, do you know how many other jobs this security guard has? What do you think? This is one. He's got 3 jobs. He also drives for Uber, and he doesn't know where he is at any time.
It's a mall with 25 stores and restaurants.
Oh, this isn't just that store?
No. It's so ridiculous.
That makes it
I felt
1,000 times.
so sorry for the man, and I'm like, this is Utah, though. You confront him, and then he tells you he's suffering from depression. Like, it's so weird. Everything is so weird in Utah.
Did you have advice?
So I said to him, I was like, I feel like maybe you just let this go.
Yeah.
Was my advice.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, so you don't think he's singling me out? And I was like, I mean, on the contrary, he's not remembering your name. So I think he's like not singling. I go, I don't think it's offensive.
This is the one person we can be sure is not singling you out.
Yeah. I go, is it a white guy? And he goes, no. I go, he's definitely not singling you out then.
Right.
Like,
I've worked with people for like 10, 15 years that I never knew their name, and it got to a point where it was too late. And I had, hey man, what up, bro? How's it going, buddy?
I mean,
for years.
Yes.
And I wonder, does he know that I don't know his name, or am I good enough at the bro, man, buddy? He doesn't know.
At no point am I having a confrontation. Like he's looking at me like I'm going to tell him to get HR involved. There's no HR. You work in a clothing store at the mall.
This is but just the insane selfishness too.
Mm-hmm.
If you go, Al, you haven't been that funny on the podcast lately, and I go, Corinne, I'm teetering on the edge. I'm clinically depressed, and you're like, yeah, but episode 3 was really weak. Like to glaze over the fact that I just did something very hard, which is admit to a stranger that I am suffering and I need help, and he's like, yeah. PJ, how hard is it?
I'm going to find, I hope Denver's coming to town soon so I can take this to her.
So weird.
Yes. We're going to go to break, but I am not even close to done with my Utah stories. So we'll be right back. All right. So while I'm in Utah, I'm staying at the AC Hotel, which is actually a very lovely hotel. And it's one of the newer ones in downtown Salt Lake. It's really nice.
I love the way a nice, new, trendy hotel smells.
Well, one of the things I like most about them is there's 4 pillows on your bed. 2 of them are feather, 2 of them are fiber. So if you don't like, it's a very nice hotel. That being said, okay.
One's for sleeping, one's for having your face buried into.
One's for screaming into. So this hotel there's like a bunch of like really high-end restaurants near it. And there's like a brand new sushi place that I wanted to go to. So I take her right out of the hotel and I run right smack into a guy holding an owl. I'm going to pause there. This is not, if you've never been to Salt Lake, it is a major city. It is their major city. So it's not like I'm in a farm area. There's lots of traffic and loud noises and then a man with an owl. And there's homeless people.
Where was it? On his forearm, on his shoulder?
On his forearm. And I immediately am like, oh my God, it's an owl. And so I go over.
A big owl?
Yes.
Yes.
Large.
Yeah, they're big and intimidating.
They can be.
I am like I follow lots of owls on Instagram, which is probably not shocking to anyone because this is my thing. I follow a lot of meerkats.
That is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
So I love
somebody
owls.
say.
Like I was like really interested in this owl and like, I don't know what he's doing. So he had this guy with him. And the reason he positioned himself outside my hotel is because there's like a smaller concert venue nearby. And I guess he was trying to be like around where people were going to be like entering and exiting, though nothing was playing. It was like a fucking Tuesday night. Anyways, so I go over, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, is this your pet? And he goes, this owl is the owl from Harry Potter.
Oh, bullshit.
Well, let me tell you. Then his little assistant grabs a binder and opens it up. And there's, those laminate sleeves where you can like slide it. He's like, he has been in over 50 movies. And he goes, owls in the wild only live like 5 to 7 years, but in captivity, he goes, this owl is 23 years old and he is a star. He has been alongside, and he starts listing off all of these actors. And I'm thinking, and I go, okay, all right, well, I don't need to see the binder. I just want to play with the owl. And he goes, well, if you'd like to take a picture with the owl, it'll be $20.
Of course.
And I go, well, I didn't do my hair or makeup and I don't necessarily need a picture with an owl. I will give you $20 if I can play with him for a few minutes. And he goes, well, for liability reasons, that's the $20. And I was like, yeah, I heard you. Am I signing a waiver? Like, can I just play with this fucking owl?
Right. Wait, what do you mean by play with?
I wanted to like pet it, put it on my arm, like hang out with it for a little bit. I'll give you $20 for that. I don't really need the picture. And also I looked like shit. So I then said to him, I go, fine, will you be here tomorrow at the same time? Because I'm staying at this hotel one more night. I'll do my hair. I'll take the picture. I'll give you the $20 for the, but I got to get something out of this. And he goes, we're on location. I don't know if he'll be off set early enough.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Dude.
I think he's lying.
No.
And then Chris just Googled the owl.
So let me ask you.
Yeah.
Was the owl white?
No, the owl was 80% brown.
So the main owl in Harry Potter is a snow owl.
Well, this is a supporting owl.
Right, and it's white, and its name is Hedwig.
It's not that owl.
Now, there are, I think, other owls. So for him to be like, this is the owl from Harry Potter, no, it's not.
It sounds better
an
than
owl.
It sounds better than a featured extra owl.
But by the way, if I was even a little up on my Harry Potter knowledge, I would have been like, no, it fucking isn't.
He's just trying to make cash.
Yeah, but then he had to make this explanation of how famous this owl is to like 5 other people while I was trying to talk to him. And if he just made the price $5, he would have made $20 in the time it takes him to go through this binder to get you on board with $20 for one fucking picture.
It's such a strange thing because when you said outdoor mall, that just took me back to Florida Bayside.
Yeah,
that tourist trap down there. It's near the basketball arena. And there's always a guy walking around with a huge snake around him. And he wants to take a picture with, matter of fact, remember the girl that danced with that old guy in like episode 10 when I went on a date with her?
Yes.
She took a picture with the snake guy. And people walk around, but like when we took that picture, we didn't go, is this the snake from Wayne's World?
Who cares?
Like, no one gives a shit, so you don't need that whole that backstory is for him, which is so weird.
But the other thing is, if you want to charge $20, that's for at the zoo when they print the picture and give it to you, or they make you a keychain. If I'm taking it on my phone and it takes 3 seconds to put this owl on my wrist, he kept claiming the liability. There's no liability, brah. Okay? So
the liability.
I thought that was very strange.
This maybe was Ron Weasley's owl.
Oh, maybe.
He had one as well, and it was brown.
I'm trying to remember if the picture he showed me, because I only saw the Harry Potter picture, and then as
It wasn't Harry Potter's owl.
Well, no, but it was like from the movie. Ron
right.
Weasley might have been in the picture.
I'm interested in this.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't know owls only live 5 to 7 years. I thought they were wise.
He claims in the wild they only live that long. This owl's 23 years old. I didn't catch the name.
That sounds like bullshit.
It probably was. So like everyone in Utah is just like a little bit off. And like sometimes in a really like beautiful way. So I was experiencing like horrendous allergies, and I didn't think the tissues, that's why I was talking about the AC hotel. I don't think the tissues at the AC hotel reflect how nice of a hotel it is. The tissues are not good.
Too thin?
You can't cheap out on the tissues.
Very rough, sandpapery. Yeah. And so I was like, look, I'm dying of allergies. I'm not going to keep blowing my nose into these. So I went to a gas station because I thought I just want like a little.
To get the good stuff?
Yeah. Well, I wanted a little, little packet.
Yeah, that's the worst that you could get.
No. The Kleenex makes them. I'm flying home in like 12 hours. I don't really need a Costco-sized amount of tissues.
At the AC, you need to call down to the front desk and be like, send up your good shit. And then don't even give your room number. They know where you are. Just be like, I'm not the girl that you cheap out on with the tissues.
Well, anyway, so I go to this gas station. I think I went to the gas station because I Googled CVS and like the only thing walkable, I didn't want to get my car out of LA. I was like, there's a gas station. I'll just go there. So I go, and they did not have any, what do you call, like purse-sized tissues? What do you call those?
Yeah, it's like travel size.
Travel size. That's what I was looking for. So the woman's like, I'm so sorry. We don't have any. And I was like, okay, all right. It is what it is. And she goes, so I would like to offer you, I have an open package in my purse, and I would like to give that to you.
What?
I know. Thank you for thinking this was as strange as I did. This woman makes no money. She's working at the gas station. I don't want to take her tissues. I know it's small, but still. So I was like, no. And she goes, please, I insist. They're unopened. And she kept saying unopened. I go, I wouldn't give a fuck if they were. It's not like it's not a used handkerchief. It's a tissue. You pulled it out of the package. I
don't think you're sneezing them and putting them back in the package.
And she was like, you have to take them. So I took this fucking poor woman's tissues.
Oh my God. As you were leaving, she should have gone, now my kids have nothing to comfort them tonight.
It was so fucking absurd. And then, okay, the last story out of Utah that I want to tell is so when I used to go to Utah, every time I went, I would always try and bring back something for my goddaughter, like a little knick-knack. Now I don't do that anymore because I don't care. But when she was new and there was novelty involved, I would bring back something.
Give us an example.
Well, she collects, she's got this, it's for old-timey stamps or something, but like little figurines. So like, I don't know, whatever I could find that's like small that would fit in this.
Is your goddaughter an 89-year-old retiree?
She's being raised by exactly that.
Okay.
So when I went to Salt Lake has a few stores that sell just like the smartest branding of all time. It says SL, like Salt Lake, comma, UT, like Utah, and it just spells slut, which is so perfect because it's downtown Salt Lake where like nobody, it used to be like really like a big deal.
Do you think anybody gets it?
Yeah, now they do, I think. So I go into this, so my hotel, the AC, is next to a souvenir shop that has the slut shirts. And so back when I used to visit, I used to go into, I went into the store one time and I was like, oh my God, these are incredible. Do you have them in child sizes? Because like I was like, this would be so funny to put on my goddaughter.
Yeah.
And now
the way they identify you early for the gifted program.
I loved it. And I realized after I did it how ridiculous it was. So now there's a lot more of those shops that have popped up and I just do it every time. It never gets old to me. I was by myself. It's not even like Elise was there to like watch me do it. No, yeah. I walked
This is just for you.
I was like, do you have this on a bib? And it's never not going to be funny to me.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is such a weird, I know we got to get to break, but the owl will stay with me forever. So I'm going to think about that during this commercial.
If I am a one-woman PR team for Salt Lake, get your ass to Salt Lake and see what the fuck is up over there.
Yeah.
It is a different land.
Go there and be a slut.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to do an incredible Go Naked after this break. Okay, guys, I am going to remind you that Go Naked is for people suffering from Schadenfreude. And I'm not going to explain either of those two things. I feel like by now you should know them.
It's a good way to welcome listeners. Figure it out, bitch, or don't.
Okay, so I read this Go Naked, and like, I don't even know if I can get through this without fucking crying laughing, because it made me so happy. I called 3 different people, and I was like, you gotta hear this. Was your day bad? Listen to this.
You're doing fine.
Okay, so this person writes in, my friend has been arrested for arson. So that's the opener, okay? So you already know. You know it's going to be good. I don't think she did it. Her boyfriend was abusing her after she had a stroke and couldn't walk.
Oh, no.
What did she light on fire? Something close, I assume?
This is like a wild scenario. How do you get clipped for arson when you don't have legs that work?
The arms reached arsonist of Salt Lake City.
Okay, he got banned from the hospital. I was there. What can I do for my friend? What can I do to protect myself? I feel like he did this and pins it on her. Probably. This woman's recovering from a stroke. I don't think she did it. And she said, I begged her not to go back when she left the hospital wheelchair bound. What do I do?
Oh.
So she went back to this guy who pinned the arson on her.
Look, we all have things in a relationship. See, now, though, she can use it, like, when they're fighting over what restaurant to go to. Remember when you tried to pin that arson on me? All right, we're going to P.F. Chang's, bitch. Come on.
I took that arson charge for you.
God, what a champ she is.
What is happening in Louisiana?
It is so, but like, there's the thing is, Corinne, they're not saying it tongue in cheek or like, oh, this is clearly like
serious advice.
She's just like, yeah, what's up? What should I do to get my friend? Yeah.
I don't even like. It's so.
Lock her wheelchair. Don't let her
go
leave.
to the cops, baby, for starters. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to read, just because I wanted to prove how bad the dating pool is. Before I get into what I'm about to read, I just want you guys to know that I'm still technically on Hinge. Mm-hmm. And I got, the guy, they can compliment you or say something in reaction to your profile. And then that's what pops up. And then you can choose to like them. And then the conversation will start. And he wrote, I'd fuck you.
All right.
And so,
wait, don't people say speak your truth?
Yeah. I mean, I was like, okay, he was not hot. I was like, this is really aggressive for you, sir.
What do you think the motivation behind that is? Just to be offensive to a woman? Like, why would
I think it's a numbers game.
To say I'd fuck you?
He could just say that 100 times,
And then
maybe
someone says yes.
one would think that was, I don't know, edgy or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's-
Okay,
yeah.
so there's another site of all the sites I mine for content. There's one called Vouch Dating. So the concept behind this, I haven't touched on this in a while because there
I
hasn't been
miss
much.
vouch dating like an old friend.
It's so it's the idea of girls. It's only girls, and they present guys that are like wonderful guys that they tossed aside, or it's like my brother. It's a lot of ex-husbands, which is wild to me. But then sometimes it's just, they got something they're pitching.
Yes. They should call it passive-aggressive power dynamic. But that doesn't roll. Vouch dating sounds better.
I've never, ever seen a single person on this site and been like, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring here.
Right.
All right, so this person writes in, Michael, 29 years old, 5'9", butcher, makes $55K a year. I'm just going to stop right there. I don't think $55K is the flex you thought it was.
No. Wait, what city is this?
Fort Collins.
Oh, okay. If this is a small town, I'm like, he might be the mayor, but like, no. Okay.
No. And then she goes on to say he's looking for his forever girl and sincerely wants real and permanent. He likes all different kinds of music, will go to concerts and events. He would love to travel more. Sir, you don't have that kind of money. You can take a Greyhound and see a nearby state. Do you like Nebraska?
Yeah, and also like, don't forget ladies, he can also chop you up and discard of your body without anybody ever knowing.
Yeah.
That too.
Yes, of course.
Plus $55K.
And then he goes on to say, so let's all remember he is only 5'9". He's making $55K. Okay, so then she says, he really isn't into girls that go clubbing, heavy drinking, dressing trashy, or have mega body counts.
Okay.
You have far too many standards, my friend.
And shouldn't he be saying some of this? Like, why don't you just say, hey, I know a great guy. He's this. This is his job. You don't need to get into his financials here. I have a PDF of his W-2.
I'm so stunned at the $55K. Also, you could have said he was a butcher, and I actually could do the math myself. I could understand roughly what a butcher makes. It seems weird to be like, his W-2 last year, he cleared $55,789.
See, I feel like a butcher might make some dough in the right neighborhood.
Make more than that.
Yeah, because anybody going to a butcher, because there's a butcher right down here on 6th, and I went in there, and it was like old, rich ladies. And the thing is, they're like, I want a pork chop, but you're selling like pork chop. Like, you can make some money, dog.
Here's the thing. The guy at Ralph's who's running the deli counter, that's also a butcher.
That's a good point.
Right.
So, like, I don't know that this guy's procuring
He's not a high-end
bison.
butcher.
Yeah, So, anyways, I was just, I thought that was really fun.
Chris, do you think the money comment was, like I said, a passive-aggressive way to just present him? Like, it's just like, yeah, you can have him. Like, why would you say that?
I don't know. Maybe in certain communities and stuff, that's a good number.
I don't know what.
In Fort Collins, that's tough. Fort Collins is like a rich people town, isn't it?
Is it? I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's pretty. It's not Colorado Springs.
Well,
It's kind of far away from any city.
yeah, maybe you can skate on that with no kids.
yeah, I spend time in Fort Collins. It's pretty pricey.
No, it's a nice place. but-
Yeah, but anyways, he's a loser.
Did he ever pin arson on anyone?
Yeah, exactly. Let's do the standards, the ranking.
He might be a good dude, you know?
Okay, well, I'm going to end on this because Dr. Sean Kniff wrote in, and since we touched lightly on Schadenfreude this episode, I have learned a new German word. So do you remember when we did, I think it was Richard, we talked about there was a person wrote in that was like, this guy I'm dating keeps using the same jokes, and I realized he's actually not funny.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, Dr. Kniff wrote in and said, just finished listening, best podcast around, thanks for the laughs. By the way, there is a neurological condition called Witzelsucht. I'm probably saying that wrong. Witzelsucht. Definitely German. Where the patients
Sounds
have...
like a blowjob in the 40s. Young man needs to get his whistle sucked.
Yeah. That's perfect. That's perfect, Al. Where the patients have pathological and reflexive joke telling. They just keep punning and joking. It is terrible. I've seen a few cases after brain trauma. And then he sent me the Wikipedia link. So thank you, Sean.
That is fascinating.
I know. So maybe that's what this person had.
But this, first of all, our swimmers, if you're part of this community, they're not only normal people, they're high functioning, and they're probably people that don't let little things bother them to the point where, like, I'm going to write in about this. This guy must have been repeating jokes to the point where he's like, I need to consult other people to make sure that this is not correct.
Compulsively.
Yeah, that's interesting. A compulsive
So there's a medical condition. That would really suck. Like, listen, I had anal fissures. I'd rather that than compulsive punning.
Oof.
Oh, man.
I was telling Chris before we started when I was reviewing my stories with him. So Eliza, who's definitely listening to this episode, hates puns. Like, hates. And so when we were on The Amazing Race, she said to me before we started, she goes, and you, no puns, you understand? And I was like, all right, that's weird. And we were team villain. And so at some point we're doing an interview and I go, villain me softly, like killing me softly.
Right.
And she looks at me and she's like, I said no puns.
Did something happen to her at a summer camp?
She really, really hates them. So God forbid she ever ends up with a guy like this. Chris, what are your final thoughts?
Puns are painful.
Yeah.
It can be.
They really are. Yeah, they elicit the groan.
Yeah.
The only time I ever went to Salt Lake City was I was dating someone who was making a movie there with Scott Baio. So I go to Salt Lake City and I hang out with Scott Baio for a weekend. Hanging out with him, have dinner. I remind him that I'd worked for Entertainment Tonight and I'd interviewed him like 4 times before. So I interacted with Scott Baio. Then I spent a weekend with Scott Baio. A couple years later, I'm in LA and he's a member of my country club. I chat with him. Then one day there's a tournament and he happens to be partnered with a guy I know really well. And I walk up and go, hey, buddy, you're playing in the tournament. And he goes, yeah, and do you know my partner, Scott? And Scott looks at me and he goes, Scott, like he's never met me in a million years. He had no clue who I was. I'd spent like 10 times with Scott Baio, and he had no clue who I was.
Jenna Maroney from 30 Rock says the 4 meanest words you can say to someone is nice to meet you.
Yeah. I'm like, nice to meet me, bro.
Fuck off. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Now you're PJ.
Yeah. So that's my Salt Lake memory.
Yeah, you're not that big anymore, Scott. Like, Chris, stop fronting, dog. And that's why you listen to this podcast, because this isn't just a podcast about Scott Baio or life. It's
a podcast about getting professional advice from me when you run a boutique at the City Creek Mall.
Shout out, PJ.